This is a short patient video on deep brain stimulation using the ClearPoint system. This surgery is performed with the patient under general anesthesia in an interventional MRI suite. To start, the patient's head is prepped and draped in normal sterile fashion. A grid is placed over the area where the incision will be. The patient then undergoes an MRI of the brain. Images of the patient's brain show up on a specialized computer in the MRI control room. The surgeon will pick the brain target using this computer. The surgeon will then determine the best pathway toward the brain target that avoids causing any injury to normal brain tissue. The best pathway toward the target is also known as the trajectory. The computer software then calculates and demonstrates on the grid where the incision should go to best achieve a safe trajectory into the brain. The surgeon then marks this point on the grid using a custom screwdriver and makes an incision through this point. Your actual incision may vary from this one, depending on your anatomy and your surgeon's preference. Once the incision is made, a small hole is made in the skull to make room for the deep brain stimulator lead to enter the brain. This hole is made using a specialized drill and is about the size of a nickel. Following this, a hard plastic frame base is attached to the skull. A smaller plastic ring called a stim lock is also attached to the skull at this point. The stim lock is a permanent implant that helps hold the deep brain stimulator lead in place at the end of the procedure. A frame top is then secured to the frame base. This total frame complex helps the surgeon accurately aim the deep brain stimulator lead to the brain target. A color-coded hand controller is then attached to the frame. This hand controller allows the surgeon to change the direction of the frame while the patient is undergoing live MRI scanning. This way, the frame is ultimately pointing directly at the desired brain target. New images of the patient's brain show up on a specialized computer in the MRI control room. The surgeon confirms the brain target and the best pathway to the target using this computer. The surgeon then redirects the frame as needed in the MRI using the colored hand controller. This helps the surgeon reach the desired brain target with a high degree of accuracy and safety. The permanent deep brain stimulator lead is then inserted to the brain target using a specialized construct that fits over the top of the frame. The lead is then carefully secured into place using the stim lock device that was attached earlier. The plastic frame is then removed piece by piece from the patient's skull. The other end of the deep brain stimulator lead is tucked underneath the scalp in preparation for the second surgery during which the lead extender and battery are implanted. The wound is then cleaned and closed and the surgery is finished.